All right. Hi, everyone. Hi, Jenny. How you doing?
I'm good, Sandy. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's cool in my house today. The weather's dropping in temperature. Uh, we have a fun show. We are back to reviewing images this episode, and we have four images to talk about. We also wanted to, before we start, we wanted to talk about why these critiques are helpful for the participant and the viewers that actually watch this channel. So I'm going to let Jenny, she just made a really great post on our Facebook page. And I'm going to let Jenny start off with that discussion, just a short little blurb about why critiques and image discussions are good.
Okay, well, so if you haven't joined our Facebook group, you can go do that at chickstalkingpics. And I recently posted a photo of mine that got an award at a recent local contest. And it was one that I improved through critiques with other photographers. I used to belong in a group that we would share images with each other, and we kind of round robin and everyone would talk about everyone's image. So it kind of puts you on the spot to find something to talk about, which is important. If you are forced to look at images more critically, you learn to look at your own that way. But it also points out stuff you might not see in your image. And so that brings me back to critiques are helpful not only to see things that maybe you overlooked because you're so emotionally attached, or your image has whatever you were feeling while you took it, and the viewer maybe isn't feeling that, and it's your job as a photographer to get that across to them. And by getting the opinions of other people, you can find out what succeeded and what didn't succeed and how to improve and get your voice heard through your images. So that's what Sandy and I here are trying to do. We're trying to help you take that next step and improve just those little bitty easy things that might take your image to the next level. Sometimes it's not something big. Sometimes it's just improving the vignette or removing a distracting element. And that's what we're trying to do, is help you see that so you improve and you can move forward with your photography.
Great. Exactly, Jenny. I feel that so many images that we see in some of the competitions we judge are, if you don't give that feedback to people, they don't know why they were rejected. Their image was rejected. So we're trying to help the viewers and, and the people that are sending in images, to get to that next level. You can take it or leave it. Doesn't matter to us. It's just a courtesy. This is a free service for any photographer out there that's willing to have their review posted on the YouTube channel to live probably forever. But we are offering you to do that anonymously also. You don't have to give us a name, or we don't have to say the name on air. So just let us know if you want us not to mention your name. And we have a couple of those images today, Jenny. So let's go ahead and get started on the first one. All right. Jenny, I'm going to let you take this one. I'd like for you to start.
Well, you might recognize this one from our title slide, because this one's actually mine. So it's not anonymous, but this is one that an example of something I entered in a contest, and it did proceed to the upper levels. I can't remember how it did. But there's things now that I've evolved from this image that I would like to do better. And that's always something to look for, is as you improve, if you go back and look at other images, you might say, well, that might have worked then, but now I think I could do better things. And this one, I mean, it's kind of busy. There's, it's obviously a macro shot, and there's some areas where I'd like to have focused a little better on eliminating some of the distractions. But just getting feedback from other people helps to move, even us forward as people that judge a lot of images. So what do you think, Sandy? What would you change in this?
Yeah, I think we discussed this a little earlier, but have you changed this to black and white?
I didn't change this one to black and white.
Okay.
I think I tested it in black and white, but I wasn't real happy with it then.
Okay. All right.
Not
I
the one
like
we
it.
were talking about before.
Yeah, I like it. It is busy. It is. There's a few little elements of a dandelion, right?
Mhm.
The dandelion seed head that are kind of out of focus and maybe a little distracting, but I think overall that your vision was definitely different from others. So judges don't see this kind of thing very often. I might add a little vignette on this one because I don't know, I just darken up the corners just very so slightly to keep me all involved. Because some of those, especially like on the left-hand side, the the light color kind of drags me over there and it's even busier. I don't know, maybe you could crop this a little off the left to get that busyness out and kind of eliminate that really white spot. Let me see if I can show you. Let me get my little tool here. And this little spot right here is kind of bothersome to me. I don't know if it is to anybody else, but if you said you did well in a competition, that's great. And every competition is different. So that's the only thing I think I would say about this.
Mhm.
I practice shooting. I think you could, with the tools now, like the HDR merges and things like that, I think you could even get more detail out of this kind of an image. So I think it's fun. It's a fun image.
Yeah, I think a little more depth would kind of draw a viewer in a little more.
Yeah,
The closer spots that are out of focus.
Yes, that's what I'm referring to. I agree. Now let's take a look at your settings on this then, Jenny. So that's really slow, I think, kind of for, did you handheld or were you on a tripod?
I'm sure this was on a tripod because this was
Okay.
Canon's MPE lens, which I don't know if you're familiar with. It's a 1 to 5 times life-size lens, manual focus only. And,
Oh, got it.
it's a very large, heavy lens, and a very niche lens.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, depth of field is 13, or your f-stop is 13, so you probably could stretch that a little bit more, and in addition to maybe do a couple of stacking images to stack together.
Yeah.
And that might make this even that much more appealing. But it is kind of it's a very different image. I do like it. Good. All right, let's go to the second image. All right. And I like this image for, well, a lot of reasons. I love the palette of grays. This is a feather, but I don't know what it belongs to. I don't know what bird it belongs to. I like the color palette, the grays. There are some indication of other colors in there. When I look at it at 100%, it looks like there's some blue tints in there and maybe some little bit of warm colors in there too. But I also like all the water droplets. Very, very interesting. What I think is the most attractive is this area. I'm gonna get my tool up here again. And I think this area is the most appealing. all of this in here. That is really, really caught my eye. The area down here is kind of flowing out of focus. So I think I might use a little more depth of field on this one again. This large feather up here doesn't fit with the rest of them. That's the thing that I have. So if you did anything at all, I might crop that part off. So that is that's my thoughts. I love the detail in the feathers and everything. And maybe you can see some of the sand or dirt within those water droplets. So it's a for real image. I don't know if I would maybe clean those up a little bit where they might be distracting, like this little section here. That's the only section that really kind of pulls my eye. So so that's my thoughts on that. What about yours, Jenny?
Yeah, I love the texture and the details in the water droplets. The bottom right corner where you have the feathers falling off is probably could be cropped off at the very least, you know, if the person didn't want to crop up as much as you were suggesting. And yeah, the feather at the top that's going a different direction. I mean, it almost, I'm torn about whether it's adds interest because it is different, or to go for more uniformity and not have it. You know, it's kind of a either or for me.
Sure.
But yeah, I like the color palette. I like the soft colors, the, you know, the little bit of warm browns, the grays. There's not anything highly distracting. Yeah.
No. And you know what else I really like is the diagonal of the feathers in this frame. It's a vertical frame with the diagonal in it, which is really, really excites me. I like diagonals in images.
Diagonals are one of those things that adds, you know, power or energy to images.
Yeah. I call it tension. I like the tension of the image.
That's a good word for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, great. It's really, really a nice image. Yeah, the lower left-hand corner, there's a little bit of sand that I might take out of there. You know, if you were going to keep the whole frame and not crop any off. I hate to see you crop some of that good stuff off. You know, or the person, you know, whoever decides what they're going to do with it, to crop anything off of it. I hate to see that happen. Right. But anyway, so that's my thoughts on that.
Okay.
Great. All right, let's see what kind of settings was on. So an 80th of a second, again, kind of slow. F4, well, that tells you why we're having some of the falling off issues, maybe on the lower right corner and the upper left corner. So maybe a little more depth of field, a little a smaller aperture would help that. So very good, but I really do like it. It's very, very nice and appealing. I think it just needs to be worked a little bit there. Good. All right. Next one. Jenny, you can start with this one.
Okay. This is kind of a moody harbor scene. I like the clouds, the starbursts on the lights are really eye-catching. I like those. They add a little you know, pizzazz or something to the image, having those
bling.
It's got a nice color palette, the nice soft blues. It's definitely got mood to it, whether it's, you know, early morning or late evening. Not sure, but I don't know. Reflections are nice. You know, it's a nice calm scene. You know, the red light at the base of the tower of the pylon there in the middle is a little distracting, but you know, there's also, well, there's I guess two of them.
Yeah,
but, you know, they're there, they're realistic, you know,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, is that it, Jenny?
Yeah, go ahead, take it.
Yeah, I think those red lights are a little distracting myself. There's actually, I see 4 of them in there. The
I see
top
the others,
2
yeah.
that are underneath the bridge don't bother me, but the ones on the pilings at the base of the pilings, those do bother me a little.
Yeah, they're a little bit brighter, and the ones that are on
Right.
the bridge, I didn't notice right away. Yeah.
And they just don't fit with the color palette of the whole scheme, which is like moody, dark. Um, who knows? The lights could be on because of they may be on a sensor. I don't know.
Probably.
Um, but I do like the leading line into the scene, kind of coming out of nowhere. You don't, I don't really wouldn't know where this was, except maybe if I could read one of those towers in the back, which I really can't read. And so anyway, I do like it. It is moody. I like the reflections. I like the leading line, and I like the blues. And the blues kind of complement the reflections in the water. So that's my thought on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay, let's see what the settings are on that, just to go through that real quick. So yeah, so everything's in focus from here to eternity, infinity. Everything looks pretty crisp at a f/22. Good low shutter speed. I mean ISO, so no noise is present. I don't see anything. And wow, it's a long exposure. Wow, we've had long exposures this this set. So 13 seconds for the exposure. So
I'm surprised
interesting.
the water's not smoother, actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Yeah, the water should be smoothed out for 13 seconds. But I guess maybe it was flowing faster than we think. So anyway,
Could have been.
good. Thank you for submitting this image, whoever you might be. And this is another anonymous image that we got for critique today. I guess I'll start with it. It's interesting. It's often you can't get color in a landscape, in a wildlife image. It's hard. Usually they're greens and grays and browns and that kind of thing. This one has a really interesting pink palette to it, and I think that the pink falls onto the pelicans, the white pelicans. Now, keyword white. They should be white. I think they're a little pink, but what do you think? I like the composition. So talked about that, Jenny, when you get a chance to say something after I finish. I kind of like the composition. It's different. Why they didn't raise up and include the reflections, I don't know. Maybe they couldn't fit in the frame. But you have 2 species. That's a good thing. Two of the pelicans that you can tell are males in breeding plumage because they have their, I don't know what you call those little horns on the end of their bills. When you can tell a male from a female, I believe, from that. And so it must be springtime, wherever this was taken. And they must have had a nice sunset because there's pink in the sky. Again, 2 species, 3 pelicans, 2, I think, cormorants, maybe, in the scene. Okay, Jenny, take it away. I don't have anything more to say right now.
Yeah, I do like the color palette. I might, just for little touch-ups, lighten the face, especially on the pelican that's on the far right. There's a lot of shadow there. You could lighten that up. And you could do a selection where you could, select the pelicans and make them more white, correct their color. I think that would help overall. I do like I don't know that I need the reflections. I kind of like the positioning of everything starting at that bottom third and having the kind of flow of almost a diagonal, but you've got that, if you go from the taller one down. I think it's got an interesting flow from left to right, which is, we usually in Western world read, from right to left in this case, we usually read from left to right. So I don't know if flipping the image, sometimes that helps.
Oh, good idea.
You can flip it back and forth and see if it makes you feel any different. Yeah, I think compositionally it's nice. The background's not distracting. I might tone down those little two kind of grayish blue stripes that are at the top.
Yes.
I like there's a little bit of the wavy lines from the water behind them. It'd be nice if the pelican's head was turned a little more so you could see the eye more clearly and instead of seeing their backs.
Yeah, especially that third one that's not even looking at you at all. That would have been nice.
Just to have somebody looking at us would be good.
Right.
You almost feel like a voyeur, like you're sneaking up behind them.
Yeah, I can't imagine that you could have gotten out into the water and looking in the other direction. So
right.
Yeah, and you had an option here to change this into a silhouette scene. I wonder if the maker ever even thought of that while they were on location. So, that
the darker birds are almost a silhouette.
Yes, but you could have really spruced up that water and had a really nice darker pink and let those pelicans go silhouetted or almost. And when you're doing a silhouette, you want to have a very noticeable or recognizable profile image. And I think that would have worked for the pelican in the middle for sure. You would have known it was a pelican if it was a silhouette. But I don't know about the other bird, the middle bird, the pelican that's kind of down with the kind of bad hair day.
So you might not know it's a pelican, but you would know it's a bird.
Yeah, right. That's true. So, these are just all things that we're picking apart. We don't mean this personally to anyone out there that is watching this critique or that submitted their images. We're just making suggestions that might help it be a better image. So please, just know that we aren't here to hurt your feelings. We're only here to make suggestions and tell you, would it make it in a competition? I don't know. I think with maybe the fixes or maybe a little bit of exposure control in this one, Jenny, it could pass into maybe a bird category at the San Diego County Fair. I don't know. They're pretty tough over there, those bird judges. And
I don't know that there's enough engagement with between the viewer and the subject.
True.
For this to pass to the next level. I think we would have to wait for all the birds to turn around and be looking at you.
Yeah. And that would really catch judges' attention if they were all turned around looking at you, or at least in some other capacity looking with eyeballs. If everybody had an eyeball right here, even the two cormorants, that would be great. Because otherwise this is kind of a typical shot that we might see in otherwise. So you need to wow us or wow the judges.
Or some interaction that the birds are doing that is something you normally see, or
that would be great.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, let's just real quick look at the settings on this and if we have any comments. So 1/200th of a second at ISO 800. Well, it's either early morning or late evening, so I can see using 800. 6.3 f-stop or aperture seems about right to me. I don't think you need any more than that, because you want to soften up that background as much as you can and keep that, all those birds are on the same plane. So you probably could have got away with a, you know, a 4.0 or something, even a 2.8 maybe. But anyway, 6.3 is acceptable. So very good. All right, well, those are our 4 images for today. And if we really encourage you to send your images in. We, like I said earlier, can do it anonymously if you don't want your name attached to an image. We have no problem with that. We thank everybody for all their submissions. You send your images to chickstalkingpics@gmail.com. Size them if you know how. Please size them at 1920 pixels on the long side, and give it to us in a JPEG format. Now, if you don't know how to do that and you're looking for a little bit of help, don't worry about it. We'll make that adjustment before we put these up on the screen. And we say up to 3 images per person per 2-week period, but you know, you can send more. Like today, we included 4 images in the talk. Jenny, how about subscribing? What do you say? A good idea?
Yeah, let's get some people subscribing. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and then hit the little bell. We'll tell you anytime we post a new episode so that you won't miss out.
I have to say that I am subscribed to about 100 channels, and it is not mandatory that you watch every single one. I mean, I go through and pick the ones I want to watch, and then, you know, at least I'm notified that there's new material out there. Right. So it's not something that really, you know, on my iPhone, I get a little notice that, you know, Chicks Talking Pics has uploaded a new episode. If I don't have time to watch it then, I may put it in my save file, save for watching later, or just get rid of it if I don't want to watch it. But we don't want you to do that.
No, watch us.
So please consider subscribing, and we will see you all in 2 weeks. Jenny, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right, everybody, Happy New Year.
Bye.